In today's gospel, we hear of the multiplication of the loaves and the fish to feed the thousands who had gathered to be with Jesus on the mountain. At this time, countless people had been with him for 3 days now. They continued to bring the blind, the mute, the lame to Jesus for his healing, for him to cure them. I want to point out 3 key points from today's event that we can reflect more upon today. And sometimes we need to be reminded of these 3 basic points. First, Jesus knows what we need. Jesus knows what we need. Second, Jesus provides for us in our time of need. Jesus provides for us in our time of need. And 3, Jesus multiplies what we give him. Jesus multiplies what we give him. The first, Jesus knows what we need. We hear how Jesus has compassion for the crowds gathered around him, for all the people who had been with him for the past 3 days and did not have any food. He knows that they are hungry and tells his disciples that they must take a break, that he must take a break from his important, though life-changing work. He needs to take a break from this to take care of their needs, which leads us to our second point, Jesus providing for our needs. When Jesus identifies our needs, he stops everything. God stops everything. Even though what he's doing is important, he stops everything to provide for our needs. We hear how Jesus was healing people, clearly changing their lives and impressing so many people who would witness these life-changing moments. And he stopped this because he realized a great need. The third point, Jesus multiplies what we give him. While his disciples were quick to discount their 7 loaves of bread and their few small fish as insignificant to feed the crowds of people, Jesus takes the little that they have. Jesus takes what they are willing to provide, even though they may discount it, and he multiplies it in abundance, even to the point of having 7 baskets left over. Just thinking about that is mind-boggling. How are there 7 baskets left over after the meal? Often we can think that we don't have much to give to Jesus. We don't have much to give in any time of need for others. Maybe we think that our faith is not strong enough, or that we won't have the words to say when questioned about items of faith. But the important thing is that we give God, that we give Jesus the little that we do have, that which we do have, all that we have. And he will multiply that gift in abundance. He will multiply our gifts, our talents, our words, our efforts beyond imagination, and the impact will certainly touch many. Today marks the 100th anniversary of the great Halifax Explosion. In the days after this event, many survivors would have said the same thing that the disciples would have said in the gospel when they said, "Where will we find food in the desert after the explosion, to feed the crowds of people? We have very little or we have nothing." Once again, we can see those 3 points in action that I identified earlier. 1, that God knows our needs. 2, that God provides for our needs. And 3, that God will multiply that which we give him. We see how in this time of immediate crisis, people poured forth whatever resources they had from the neighboring areas, providing emergency relief to those in need. God who dwells in us, thanks to our baptism, the Holy Spirit who dwells within us, identified the need in so many people around us, that he moved the people at that time. He moved the people from areas all around to act, to take the little that they had to provide for the needs of those who were in great need. Similarly, what may seem like a little, God multiplied in abundance. Alone, someone who may have heard of the explosion or of the catastrophe, the crisis at time, may have thought, "Who am I? I am one person. I could not clearly make a difference. I just have my 2 hands, my 2 feet. That's all I have to give." But as we saw, many, many people were multiplied those individuals who had little, who just had their hands and their feet, their effort, their desire to help, God multiplied that and provided for the people in great need to help in such a crisis. God multiplied the gift by sending hundreds of people, and certainly thousands over the years that would follow, to help build up Halifax to the beautiful city that we now enjoy 100 years later. My friends, let us be reminded today that God knows each one of our needs, that God provides for each one of our needs, and that God will multiply anything that we give Him and leave us all with an abundance. May God bless you.